we've had decades of kind of this encroaching merger of military and police. It's dangerous. Someone called it extra constitutional. It certainly is, and it is a long, slow process of crumbling the kind of democracy that we actually all deserve to live in. So I think what we can do about it is we have to arrange a massive, sustained resistance, largely in the form of non-cooperation. These guys have extremely dangerous guns, and we're not going to go out there and try to overcome them with force. We're going to be nonviolent. It is going to be non-cooperation, nonviolent resistance, and we have to be prepared for it to be a very long struggle.
Wow, Malcolm, I heard you in the background. What you got to say? I heard you.
Well, these feds are already deploying these kinds of toxins down at the ICE detention center on McAdam here in Portland, and it's affecting the surrounding community adversely. They've had to close the school, which stands right next door to the ICE detention center, because it's too dangerous for children. There's so many chemicals on the ground. That's where the 100-plus day protesting encampment has been played. They stand right up against the school there, and when people go down there to protest now from Indivisible, we advise them to be very careful, because the toxins are so present in the environment now that you can go down there in the middle of the day when there are no ICE agents deploying these weapons and still be affected by those chemicals. So it's a very serious thing, and we're trying to train people, for example, how to deal with those kinds of attacks during protests. From how do you throw the bag over the gas canister, to the one person with the gas mask has to get out there in the street and throw the plastic bag over the gas canister so it affects fewer people, or you have to be able to kick that gas canister back towards the ICE agents who deployed it, or you have to be ready with that Mylanta solution to help your buddy get his eyes clear after the chemical attack. I mean, we're training people in how to face these realities, because we know that this is the fight we're going into, and we're getting ready for it, and we know it's going to be a long one. We've got to persevere through a long, sustained campaign of non-resistance, of resistance, nonviolent resistance, so that we can hopefully look forward once again in this country to a post-Reconstruction, multiracial democracy where people are free and their rights are protected.
Woo!
And Terry, I listened to what Malcolm just laid out. And I've got to ask you this question, Terry, because it's I like to connect dots that I see. And Terry, the dots that I see right now is that I see an administration that's in peril, that's afraid of the 2026 election that's coming up and losing control of Congress. So as a result of that, they figure that if they can just put enough confusion out into the field, they can somehow do something against that 2026 election. I see an administration, I see actions that are being taken to attack the donors to Democratic parties to try to stop the funding source to influence that election, to attack Act Blue, to using the Department of Justice to attack and ask for voter data from states to try to influence that information. When I look at all of that, and you add to that the attack that is now being announced on Democratic organizations or progressive-leaning organizations. Terry, does all of this lead to sort of an agenda to upset or somehow influence this 2026 election?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Look, I live in Tennessee now. I retired and moved to Nashville in 2023, and we're already seeing in Tennessee and in other states in the South what it looks like to really have mock elections. Tennessee is so badly gerrymandered that, and the gerrymandering has been clearly targeted at black communities. The black voters have very little voice, and that's just the way the white power elite in Tennessee likes it. So that is if you all want to know what the rest of the country is going to look like, look no further than Tennessee. That's what's coming at you. That's why it has to be a very long, sustained program of nonviolent resistance and non-cooperation with a government that does not believe in democracy at all. Sure, the Trump administration would like nothing better than to just cancel all the elections or make them Hungary type elections where people go to the polls and vote, but it's so rigged that everybody knows how it's going to turn out before voting even starts. So we're headed that way. The Republican MAGA Party absolutely wants us to get that way. We have seen this before in the 19th century and the first half of the 20th century in the South under Jim Crow laws. So since we've seen it before and we have access to the history, despite what Trump is trying to do with our access to history, we do have access to the stories and the history and the knowledge. We will use that knowledge to defeat this latest iteration of Jim Crow.
Yes, we call it racial fascism, and which, of course, is the history of the U.S. It's racial fascism, and the more we teach and understand that history, the better we will be to address this moment that we're in, dealing with autocracy and authoritarianism. Daryl, as we close our show out today, you're involved as Malcolm is getting everybody ready for October the 18th. Anything you want to say to our national audience in your closing remarks to make sure that they understand what we are facing and how we respond?
Yes, so what I'll say is that protests are very powerful. I want everyone out in the street, definitely, but what matters most is what we do between these protests. We need to stop thinking as a government as a separate body from the American people. We are the government. Mm-hmm. If we don't like what they're doing, we change things at the ground level. If we don't like the job they're doing, we take their job. That is what we need to be doing. I want everyone to get out, and there is no government job that is too small. Get on a committee, join your school board, go to town halls. We need to change this from the ground up.
Wow, powerful.
Yeah, and the same question to you, Malcolm, as we're coming to a close on our show. Number one, how do people get in touch with you? Because they're saying that, I'm listening to this Malcolm Gregory Scott guy. I'd love to get in touch with him. I want to find out what's happening there in Portland, Oregon, and how to get involved. How do people get involved with you, and what are your closing words?
Well, I cut my protesters' teeth on the barricades with the AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power and Queer Nation at the height of the AIDS crisis. And if I learned one thing through that experience, it was that this approach of nonviolent resistance works. And it will be a long, sustained fight. But if we apply ourselves to nonviolent discipline, and if we are courageous, we can reclaim our country. I know we can. Now, if people want to get in touch with me, I'm on all the socials as Malcolm Gregory Scott on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And you can contact the East Portland Indivisible Safety Team by emailing eastpdxmarshals@gmail.com. And that email comes to me and my co-lead on the safety team out here in East Portland. And we'll get back to you as soon as we can to answer your questions or plug you in if you're trying to engage here in the Portland area. And thank you so much for the opportunity for that shout-out. I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you. And let me go back to you, Daryl. How do people get in touch with you?
Yes, so we are at 5051portland.org. We have a link tree. You can go to our Instagram, Facebook, etc. All of that is at our website. We're still developing it. We're all other people that hold other jobs, of course. And then if you want to email, then it is, let me grab the best email. It would be 50501pdx em.me. That's Proton Mail. So any questions, reaching out, how to get involved, anything like that, just follow us, contact us. We're always open. We want to help amplify the voices of the people, and that includes getting feedback from the people.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jaheem, how do people get in touch with you, sir?
Yeah, so I want to go back to the point of young people can get involved by showing up, speaking out, and joining movements that matter to them. As I stated at our summit on Saturday, every issue that we care about is under attack, whether that's fighting for reproductive freedom, climate action, gun violence prevention, or student loan relief. Every issue that we genuinely care about in this country is under attack. As Vice President Kamala Harris said before, we eat no for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So for all the young viewers listening, never allow anyone to tell you that you're too young or don't have the experience to lead. If they won't give you a seat at the table, build your own. And if you want to connect, I'm on all socials at Jaheem McLaurin, and I'm happy to talk, share resources, and support young leaders stepping up. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, you're awesome.
Thank you so much, Jaheem. And Terry O'Neill, same question for you. You know, your closing words, and how do people connect with this Terry O'Neill person that's all over the place?
Let me just say I am so grateful to Malcolm and Toro for all of the work that you're doing out in Portland. I miss it. It's a wonderful city. And I was just, it does my heart good to hear what you all are doing. And to Jaheem, so many thanks for all of the work you are doing. We working together, we really can turn this country around. I can be reached. I'm on. I'm on Blue Sky at Terry O'Neill. Terry with a Y, O'Neill with two L's. TerryOneeill. I'm not on other social media, but you should be able to reach me through Blue Sky.
All right. And Daryl, before you take us home, just want to remind everybody that October 15th we'll be at the Supreme Court for the Louisiana versus Calais argument to save the Voting Rights Act. We hope you'll join us there. And please, if you can make a donation to TJC, do that. Go to tjcoalition.org so that we can do this great work. To you, Daryl, take us home.
Thank you, Barbara. Big thanks to Toro for being with us today. Malcolm Gregory Scott, thank you so much, sir, for being with us. Terry O'Neill, always a pleasure to have you with us. And my good fraternity brother, Jaheem McLaurin, great having you with us. Thank you so much for being with us today. Folks, you know what we say around here, right? You got to get off the sidewalk and get into the street to get involved and get in good trouble. We've got to be certain as our message comes through today that we don't kneel down to dictators, but we stand up. Got to be certain that we are not silent but make noise. They want us silent. We must make noise. Let's resist. Let's dissent. Let's stand up. Let's save our democracy. Let's get off the sidewalks, get into the street, and get in good trouble, folks. Until next Tuesday, noon, Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you October the 15th before the Supreme Court, October the 18th with the No Kings protests across the country. Until next Tuesday, noon time, Eastern Standard Time. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
And opinions expressed in this program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Urban One Incorporated, Radio One, or any of its subsidiary companies.
The preceding program was paid for by Barbara Arnwine.
Here at Urban One, we pride ourselves on supporting local and national Black-owned businesses throughout all of our radio markets. Since we began our Buy Black campaign, we like to spotlight some familiar and unfamiliar businesses in our communities. From restaurants, clothing and apparel, technology, electrical, heating, arts and crafts. One thing is true, Black folks have a business for everything you need, want, or could imagine. So let's show some love to all local and national Black-owned businesses, because when you spend money with a Black-owned business, you are helping your community as well as helping yourself. The businesses for this week are S&V Photography. Photography with a personal touch. SNVphoto.online. Bless 24/7 Gift Shop. T-shirts and gifts for him and her. Bless247gifts.com. BAM Sauce. BAM Sauce is a unique range of barbecue sauce flavors. BAMMsauce.com. Thank you.
1450 WOL, Washington, D.C. 95.9 W240DJ, WMMJ HD3, WDCJ FM HD3, and worldwide.